In the Impact segment tonight, gross dishonesty along racial lines. On Monday, we had an honest debate about the Confederate flag controversy. You say the Confederate flag is a symbol of hate, and you believe that.
That's the way I feel when I see it.
Okay. And absolutely 100% legitimate. For some other people who see it in a historical context.
What's the historical context?
It represents bravery.
Oh, get out of town. Bravery, they put it
war.
up.
And in your mind, it represents hate. So, and everybody should know what the two sides are believing.
That's legit.
All right? Please notice I did not say the Confederate flag symbolizes bravery. I didn't say that. I was paraphrasing what some Americans believe in order to present both sides of the story. That's what we do here. Enter the race hustlers who do what they always do.
Now, almost as soon as the backlash against the Confederate flag started to gain momentum, the backlash to the backlash got underway. Much of it from some pretty predictable sources. Rush Limbaugh railed that removing the flag from the state capitol is all about destroying the South. Bill O'Reilly said it represents the bravery of Confederates who fought in the Civil War.
Complete distortion. Again, I said some believe it represents bravery, and I clearly said the Confederate flag represents, to me, oppression. Now, the marketplace has spoken about the guy you just heard. He's the biggest failure in cable news. But the fact that he's allowed to distort day after day after day is troubling. Joining us now from North Carolina, the purveyor of BernardGoldberg.com, Mr. Goldberg. So let's take the talking points memo first. Do you agree with me that America is now being besmirched in an almost unprecedented way?
Yes, by the hard left. I'm afraid you're absolutely right. There's a certain way the liberal elite in this country show how virtuous they are, Bill. And that's by bashing America as a racist country because it makes them feel better about themselves. That way they can say, we're for the underdog, we're fighting white oppression or white privilege or now white supremacy. It's what has been called they're showing good racial manners. Now, look, as you said, in a country of over 300 million people, are there some racists? Unfortunately, yes, but this is not a racist country or anything like it. So here's my message to the progressives out there. Charleston, South Carolina, as terrible as that was, is not Selma, Alabama, and this is not 1965. Baltimore is not Selma, and Ferguson, Missouri wasn't Selma. Progressives amuse me because they don't progress. They're stuck in the past. This is not the same America as we were in 1965. That was 50 years ago. We have changed for the better, and we have changed a whole lot.
Well, that's what the stats say. I mean, we go with the crime stats, and we've reported them in a vivid way that shows there isn't an epidemic of white against black violence. There isn't an epidemic of ill will toward blacks from whites. I mean, that's just a fact. But some believe, and now I'm using the Confederate flag, some believe, all right, that the progressive movement to diminish America and label it a racist nation is political, because then they can mobilize blacks and other minorities to vote for the left and tie in Republican white guys, or if Ben Carson gets the nomination, Republican black guy, with the supremacists. You know, I mean, and some believe it's a political play here. Do you see it that way?
If it's a political play, I think it's a bad move because, well, let's first take why it may be a political play. Liberals see the answer to almost everything in government. So if they can say this is a racist country, well, what's the solution? More government, more money, more trillions spent on programs that very often don't work. But the reason I say I don't think it's a good political move is because, yeah, the far left is going to believe we're racist, and conservatives, by the way, that's who they're calling racist. Let's not pretend it's just some vague charge.
Or anybody that's associated with the Republican Party, even if you're a moderate, they call you a racist.
But so one side, the conservatives aren't buying it, and the hard left, you're not going to change their mind. But I think there's a reasonable middle in this country. And I don't think they're going to buy this because in the last few years, since President Obama got elected, if you're against immigration reform, you're a racist. If you're against Obamacare, you're a racist. If you're against higher taxes on the wealthy, you're a racist. If, as you and I have discussed frequently, if you're against dysfunctional behavior as a cause of poverty, regardless of race, you're a racist. Well, I don't think reasonable people are going to buy that.
It just depends on how many reasonable people there are. I mean, that's where it, you know, the far left is hoping that they can just overwhelm with propaganda the truth, just overwhelm the truth, and that's what they're hoping. Last word.
I don't think it's going to work, and the real pity in all of this is that liberals who are at the forefront of civil rights have turned the word racist into a meaningless word. Once upon a time, it was a serious indictment. Racist. Now it's mush, thanks to the left.
All right. Bernie Goldberg, everybody. Directly ahead, Andrea Tantaros got hammered for some of her comments on the white lady who said she was black. Also, Dennis Miller wants to weigh in on that woman. Up ahead.